Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of the Voron Zero series. In this episode I want to work on a new Tophat, and after that we will work on some lighting. We will also test the new chamber temperature sensor, the PT100 that I installed on the new PCB. I know it's been a while, but it's finally time to configure that. And there's also a new camera I want to test, and we will probably start the design of the new buttons as well for the skirts, kind of similar to the ones I had on the Voron 0.0 back in the day, but we won't print that today because if I'm designing them the way I want to design them, well, I need parts from China. But yeah, let's begin with the Tophat. I already recorded that part, so yeah, let's begin. Now, as you know, I'm not a big fan of the stock Tophat. It's just too annoying to work with. It's too difficult to remove. And I mentioned I liked hard case design on that, but as I said, his design requires extrusions and I can't get them. There is also a hinged version of the stock Tophat, well, as a mod, but yeah, and I really considered building that one, but eventually I decided on designing my own. Now this one actually doesn't open on the top, so this has some downsides compared to that design, but with my setup I think this will look really nice. That's why I decided to do this. So yeah, you can see the design. It's just basically an extension on the top, well, Tophat basically. It requires a new rear panel, unfortunately. I hope this will be the last one, I promise. Just keep changing the design, but I'm not throwing them away, by the way. I'll use them as scrap metal on other projects, so yeah, it's not going to waste or anything, so don't worry about that. But yeah, you can see the design here. These are all 3D printed parts. I should have colored them, I didn't, and the back panel is colored wrong, but anyway, you can see the idea. These are all 3D printed, and you use the stock mounting brackets for these, and all around the printer you use the stock ones. I will get rid of the nuts in here, and I will use two side clips here, so I will use the rest of the nuts pre-inserted, so there will be no rattling noise or anything like that. But yeah, stock clips, as I said. For the front door I will use the mod I designed and released for the Voron 0.0. The same mod should work as well. Its difference from the stock front door is just the fact that it uses screws instead of just VHP tape. I don't trust tape. I had some problems with it, so I designed it to be drilled through the acrylic, and I will do that. And you can see that this also requires larger acrylic panels, but that's actually nice. It gives you a better look inside the printer, so that's the idea with them. So yeah, you can see the design here. As I said, I had to split these into two pieces. I will either acetone weld or glue or something like that these together, so that you know, they're a single piece. If my Voron 2 was working, I could print these and that, but yeah, it isn't, so I'll go that route. As for the stuff on the top panel here, which will be another aluminium panel, 3mm thick, this is a work in progress, as you can obviously see from here, but it will have a bunch of LED lights and a camera mount, and that's about it. And the camera, I will talk about that later, but I started using it in the last video. It's a cheap camera that I found that people say has decent video quality, and well, I'm still testing that. In low light it doesn't work very well, but for me to actually comment on that I need to print something in proper lighting, so I'll have more on that to say later in the video. But if it works well, could be a decent alternative to the C920. C920, as I said before, and I still am on the same mind, it's basically the best camera you can buy in terms of mod support and stuff like that, and the video quality is pretty good. But it's not the cheapest camera, especially these days, because there's a shortage on cameras still, at least where I live. So yeah, decided to try that, and I'll have more on that later in the video. But yeah, this is the Tophat idea, so let's get to printing the parts for this, and I'll be back with some progress on this. All the parts for the Tophat are now printed, and yeah, you can see the Tophat here. I'm going to sand this new aluminium piece, don't worry about it, it's not going to look like this, but yeah, you can see the structure here. So yeah, it's just a rectangular box, I guess, but I think it will look good based on what I can see on the CAD. Also have the aluminium laser cut parts here. As you can see, this is 1.5mm thick aluminium. It was 3mm thick originally, since I'm going with 3mm thick everywhere else basically, but had to change it, and I'll explain why in a second. But the rear panel here, it is still 3mm thick, and yeah, this is the larger. Even hurts to hold stuff in my hand. Yeah, this is the hand with the problem. Anyway, yeah, that's the new rear panel. Again, I will sand that. But the reason why I went with 1.5 here is because of the total thickness of the fake extrusions here, I guess you could call them. The plastic parts, obviously. I want to hide the LED lighting system in this thickness, so has to have this aluminum panel. It has to have another panel in there so that I can screw the LEDs into that panel without the screws poking out on this side, because that would look ugly. And on top of that, and the distancing between panels, in the end I also wanted to have just a acrylic panel, and yeah, that's why I had to make it thinner. I had to save every millimeter I could. But here is the panel. I'll show a few pictures of inside of this as well. Just basically a few PCB LEDs in there. And I skipped one side here, and this will be the camera mount. I'll get to the camera, or maybe I already have, I don't know. That's what happens when you shoot stuff out of order, but yeah, otherwise this is how it's going to work. And yeah, here we'll have the aluminum panel, obviously. And yeah, I think this is going to work really well. It is also really bright, so I don't know, maybe I will have to dim it or something, but there you go. As you can see, it is really bright, but yeah, I think it will work really well. So let's install the Tophat. I'll also send the parts I mentioned, and yeah, I'll show all of this on the printer itself. And it is finally finished. Assembling this took quite a while, but yeah, there we go. You can see how it looks from the outside now. So as I said, it's basically just an extension on the top. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Also, you can see how the lighting is working here. Obviously, it's doing pretty well. That thing I'm printing wasn't supposed to be printing there, so there was a layer shift. Gotta figure out what happened there, but I'm guessing it's the camera. There's a problem with the camera here, unfortunately. Initially I had the mount of it pointing forward, and that was interfering with the, you know, it was hitting the tool head's umbilical, or might have been the Bowden actually, doesn't matter. And I flipped it around, and now if I want to angle it in a way that can see the bed, well, I can't close the door. So I'm printing a new mount for it. That's what's printing there, so I'll mount it soon, and I'll also show you some time lapses. But yeah, this is the top. This is that 1.5mm thick aluminum sheet. I also use nylock nuts and washers here for the screws that hold the acrylic plus the stainless steel plate. Didn't sand the stainless steel plate, by the way. There's no point in sanding it, since A, it's not visible, and B, it will lose some of its shininess if I sand it. So yeah, I didn't. But anyway, that's the screw that comes from there. And yeah, as I said, I actually tapped the aluminium, and the tap is the threads are still intact. The reason I used the nylock nut on top is because, well, the screws were sticking out too much, and one shorter length of the screw, it wasn't long enough. So yeah, that's the reason, but I don't think it looks bad. And here's the back of it. So just that new aluminum sheet, 3mm thick. Again, has the fan here. I had to use the screws for this one. It's not because it's not because I'm not happy with the rubber stuff, mounting stuff not to a fan's shipped with. It's because I damaged them and I didn't have any spares. So at least I didn't have any spares that would work with 15mm fans. I have others, but they only work with thicker fans. So yeah, pretty happy with this, how this turned out. There will probably be one more episode of the Voron Zero before I move, but that will probably be it. I want to add some buttons to the front, and I actually have a segment I recorded about that I will add to this video soon. I also want to add air filter and just do a few finishing touches. I'd like to have a handle, for example, so Yeah, a few things I need to figure out, but overall I'm pretty happy with this. So now time to talk about the camera. The reason I bought this camera and not a C920 is because there is a shortage going on of webcams. It's better than what it used to be, but it's still difficult to find C920s and other webcams in general in stock, and even when you find them, the prices are crazy high. At least that is the case where I live. I don't know how much it changed in other countries, but ever since the pandemic that's been going on here, so yeah, I could find this camera in stock and I've heard good things about it, so I decided to try it. And as it also has the advantage of being smaller, so that's an important thing for the Voron 0. Doesn't matter for the Voron 2, but yeah, on the Tophat, as I said, even with the wrong mount, it was hitting the Bolden tubes. So yeah, if the mount can make that big of a difference, a small webcam is definitely a plus. Obviously, the Raspberry Pi camera I was using before this was even smaller, but the picture quality on that wasn't great, and plus you had to deal with that ribbon cable, which was annoying. So yeah, this is what I decided on, and yeah, after using it for a while, I can say the video quality of it is more than good enough for monitoring. It is more than good enough for spaghetti detective, but for time-lapse recording it isn't great. For some reason it looks like it can't get the exposure setting right. The time-lapses look a little overexposed, and also looks like the focus isn't perfect either, but it is usable, which is the most important part. So I will continue to use this webcam for a while at least. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. One of the biggest advantages of the C920 though is the fact that there are many mounts available for it. There are none for this, so I had to design my own. I mean, I probably would need a new design because of the new Tophat anyway, but you know, even if I was mounting this on a stock Voron 0 or even on a Voron 2, I'd need a new design. So that's the thing to keep in mind. But if you want to cheap out on the webcam, or if you can't find it because of the shortage or whatever, it being C920, this is a decent option. Now the one I'm using is a local rebatch, but I'm pretty sure it's some Chinese webcam that I found on AliExpress that looks fairly similar. The specs seem to match, and the outer body shape also matches. It just has a slightly different design on the exterior, but the shape is the same. So I'm pretty sure it's the same webcam, so I'll link that in the description below. But I'll also say that you probably won't be able to find any mounts for those, so if you aren't willing to design your own, just go with a C920. But in terms of video quality, this is more than good enough for monitoring and spaghetti detective, and for time lapses, yeah, it's not perfect, but it is usable. So time to move on to the chamber temperature sensor. So here we can see my reading from it. I am using a PT100. I designed the PCB to use any 2-wire thermistor or sensor you want to use, and since I have a PT100 daughter board for my Duet Wi-Fi, I decided to use that. And since that has two inputs, so it has two Max31A65 chips and two inputs as a result, and since I need one of them for the hot end but I don't need the other one, I decided to use a PT100 for chamber temperature monitoring as well. That's definitely overkill, but you know, it was a matter of why not. So yeah, this is a PT100. I will use one on the tool head as well, on the hot end that is, whenever I can. But I'm using the E3D Revo Beta unit right now, and that only has a thermistor. I'm sure the released versions will have the PT100 option, but mine doesn't. So right now I'm using the thermistor, but eventually I will switch to that, as I said. But anyway, yeah, you can see the reading here. Getting this reading in Octoprint was a bit tricky. The thing is, with mainsail and fluid probably as well, any sensor you add to the Clipper config, it just shows up. But with Octoprint, since it's not designed for Clipper, it doesn't do that. So to add this, I had to do some weird settings in Octoprint. First of all, I had to enable the chamber heater in the printer settings here. The reason you have to do that is you can't add custom temperature sensors in Octoprint for display unless you're using something like the enclosure plugin or stuff like that, but those you'd have to connect it to the Raspberry Pi and use just that plugin to monitor. I want to use Clipper, so I had to enable heated chamber here. But I also had to do some settings in Clipper as well, so Clipper, there we go. So here is my Clipper configuration, and here is where I added the chamber sensor. So It's a Max31 A65 as I said, it's a PT100. These are the settings you need for it. This commanded one is wrong, but yeah, I have a guide on this, so I'll also link that in the description below in case you're interested in PT100s. I also wrote the VoronDocs on that as well, so I'll link that too. But the thing is, if you want to get a chamber temperature readout with a PT100 or really any temperature sensor you add additionally for a chamber monitoring, you have to add the G-codes IDC in the under the temperature sensor. What that does is C stands for chamber. And the way Octoprint knows what temperature to display here is what it receives through the terminal. So it sends this M105 and it receives the temperature as a result, and then updates here. So it's just a serial communication between Clipper and Octoprint, emulated one, but still serial. So for example, B stands for bed. It's 100 degrees, and this part means it's set to 100 degrees as well. T0, tool 0, which is the hot end, set to 240. Last temperature it received when this page decided to update, it was 239.9. And C is the chamber, so it's not set for anything, that's why it's 0, but it is 29.4 degrees whenever this refreshed last. But yeah, this tab is out of date, it's still updating, and right now it's 31.3. I've done some tests with this chamber sensor. I ran it with just that cardboard bag on top as a fake Tophat before I did the new Tophat, and I've tested this with the new Tophat as well, and all of them with 100-degree bed, just ABS printing, and the chamber temperature seems to stay around 30 degrees, which is fine. I mean, you don't need a high chamber temperature for ABS printing anyway, but I thought it's an interesting data point. And with the Tophat done, we can move on to another project. Now that one will be in the next episode, but I already did the CAD, so I can show you what it is. So it's a replacement front skirt. As I said before, I like the display and the skirt buttons I had on the Voron 0.0, but those skirts aren't compatible with the 0.1, and they also needed some work. So yeah, I just adapted that design to here. So here we will have 6 buttons. In the old design we had 8, so that's a bit of a downgrade, but that's because of the sizes of the hexes. I also changed the display. I was using OLED display that was Waveshare Raspberry Pi Zero hat 1, and since I'm no longer using a Raspberry Pi Zero, it makes more sense to just use a different display. This display is designed by the Voron team, and it was designed for the Voron 0.0, but it was meant to be mounted on a 45-degree angle as something that sticks out in the front of the printer. But since the skirts are taller with the 0.1, this actually fits here, barely, but it fits. So yeah, I wanted to do it like this, so so that there isn't anything sticking out in front of the printer except the handle for the door. So yeah, so we will work on this and an air filter and probably more in the next episode, but for this episode that's it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like down below, and thanks for watching.